the Epstein files because we have nothing to hide. We have nothing to hide. I have some bad news. There's no we. It's just you, bro. Hurry up and release the files so I can start saying they're fake.
Trump's latest strategic pivot on the Epstein files reveals the exquisite psychological architecture of a man who treats reality like a hostile witness in a courtroom, where he's simultaneously judge, jury, and defendant. After nearly 10 months of fighting tooth and nail to keep those files sealed, deploying every weapon in his arsenal, from late-night pressure campaigns to situation room arm-twisting sessions, Trump executed a reversal so sudden it should come with whiplash warnings. The man who built an entire political brand on never admitting mistakes just performed a 180 that would make Olympic figure skaters jealous. Jimmy Kimmel dissects this masterclass in narcissistic damage control, watching Trump transform from absolutely not releasing anything to "we have nothing to hide," faster than you can say "totally innocent behavior." The spectacle isn't just political theater. It's Trump's entire operating system on full display, a psychological survival mechanism that rewrites history in real time, gaslights observers into questioning their own memories, and somehow emerges claiming victory from obvious defeat.
Man, if you have nothing to hide, why even have the vote? Why not just have the Department of Justice release the files? Now, after 10 months of fighting tooth and nail, doing everything he could to keep those files secret, he's now asking for a full release.
Here's where Trump's reality distortion field reaches critical mass. The fundamental question Kimmel poses cuts through all the bluster. If Trump genuinely has nothing to hide, why orchestrate this elaborate congressional dance? Why not simply order the Justice Department to release everything immediately? The answer resides in Trump's psychological playbook, a document written in denial and performed with theatrical confidence. Trump needs the buffer, the procedural distance, the plausible deniability that comes from making it Congress's decision rather than his own. This way, when the files inevitably contain embarrassing revelations, Trump can claim he wanted transparency all along, while simultaneously attacking the files as fake, edited, or taken out of context. Notice the vacuum where accountability should exist. Trump spent 10 months deploying every pressure tactic imaginable, summoning Republicans to the Situation Room like they were being called to the principal's office, yet now claims he's been champion of transparency from day one. The cognitive dissonance would be impressive if it weren't so predictable.
Which is exactly what someone who's totally innocent and has nothing to hide would do.
Kimmel's deadpan observation lands with surgical precision because it highlights Trump's most consistent pattern, behaving exactly like someone with everything to hide while insisting he has nothing to hide. The Situation Room pressure campaign targeting Lauren Boebert and Nancy Mace represents textbook guilty party behavior. Innocent people don't summon congressional members to high-security facilities to beg them to stop demanding transparency. Innocent people don't deploy their Attorney General and FBI director as intimidation proxies. Yet Trump operates in a universe where these obviously suspicious actions somehow prove his innocence because he says they do. This is Trump's tragic flaw dressed as confidence. His ability to perform innocence so aggressively it becomes its own form of guilt. The psychology reveals itself in layers. Trump genuinely believes that if he acts innocent loudly enough, reality will bend to accommodate his performance. He's spent 78 years training himself to confuse aggressive denial with actual truth.
We have nothing to do with Epstein, the Democrats do. All of his friends were Democrats. Bill Clinton, they went to his island all the time, and many others, are all Democrats.
Trump's deflection strategy operates like a broken GPS that only knows one route. Blame Democrats. Repeat until everyone forgets the original question. The irony thick enough to spread on toast. Trump literally partied with Epstein for years, appeared in countless photos together, praised him publicly, yet now claims Epstein's entire social circle consisted exclusively of Democrats. This isn't just lying, it's performance art lying, the kind that requires such commitment to unreality that facts become optional decorations rather than foundational truths. Trump treats his own documented history with Epstein like it happened to a different Donald Trump, in an alternate timeline that doesn't count. The psychological mechanism at work here is dissociation at industrial scale. Trump has perfected the art of severing himself from his own past whenever that past becomes inconvenient, creating a continuous present where only this moment's narrative matters.
That's when he was a Democrat. Look at all the smiles. This photo is everything you need to know about Donald Trump.
Kimmel identifies the perfect encapsulation of Trump's entire approach to reality. Photographic evidence doesn't matter because Trump will simply rewrite the context. That image of Trump grinning alongside Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell should be Exhibit A in any investigation into Trump's judgment. Yet Trump dismisses it with a temporal loophole so absurd it insults basic logic. That was when he was a Democrat, might be the most Trump sentence ever constructed. A defense that simultaneously admits the relationship existed while claiming it doesn't count because of Trump's former party affiliation. This is Trump's cinematic universe, where continuity errors aren't mistakes but intentional features. The man in that photo wearing Trump's face and Trump's unmistakable hairstyle apparently wasn't really Trump because ideological conversion erases photographic evidence. Notice how Trump's brain operates. If admitting the truth creates problems, simply change the definition of truth until problems disappear.
Trump spent hours with one of Epstein's victims, who is now deceased, but don't let that distract you from the Donald Trump version of this story.
The emails between Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell represent documentary evidence, the kind that exists independent of anyone's spin or narrative control. Yet Trump approaches these communications like they're Netflix shows he can choose not to watch. Kimmel's commentary exposes Trump's most reliable escape hatch. When facts become too damaging, Trump simply acts like they don't exist and dares everyone to correct him. The deceased victim's testimony, preserved in those emails, should carry enormous weight. Instead, Trump barrels forward with his alternate reality, where Bill Clinton is guilty of everything and Trump himself remains a bystander to his own life. This pattern repeats endlessly. Trump surrounded by scandal, Trump connected to scandal by multiple sources, Trump denying scandal so forcefully that his supporters accept the denial as exoneration. The Trump version of any story isn't designed to convince skeptics. It's designed to give believers permission to ignore uncomfortable truths.
I know nothing about that. They would have announced that a long time ago. It's really, what did he mean when he spent all the time with Bill Clinton?
Watch Trump's rhetorical judo in action. When asked directly about what Epstein meant when he said Trump knew about the girls, Trump immediately pivots to Bill Clinton without even acknowledging the question. The deflection happens so smoothly, it demonstrates decades of practice dodging accountability. Trump's brain operates on a simple algorithm. Ignore question, redirect to enemy, declare victory. The phrase, "I know nothing about that," has become Trump's security blanket, a magical incantation he believes erases reality simply by being spoken with sufficient confidence. Trump genuinely seems to think that if he claims ignorance aggressively enough, documented evidence becomes irrelevant. This is a man who spent his entire life surrounded by yes-men and enablers, never developing the psychological muscles required to admit wrongdoing or accept criticism. Every Trump denial carries the subtext. Reality is whatever I say it is, and questioning me makes you the problem.
It was the best result he has ever seen as a doctor.
Trump cannot resist making everything a superlative even when discussing medical imaging that should be routine. A normal person receives MRI results and feels relief if everything's okay. Trump receives normal results and transforms them into evidence of his superior genetics, his unparalleled brain structure, his medical magnificence that astounds doctors into speechlessness. This is Trump's ego on full display, so desperate for validation that even basic health screenings become opportunities for self-aggrandizement. Notice the pattern. Trump always has the best, the greatest, the most tremendous results that doctors have ever witnessed in their entire careers. Reality gets rewritten in real time. Medical professionals become unwitting participants in Trump's ongoing self-mythology, and ordinary becomes extraordinary through sheer force of narcissistic will. The tragedy is, Trump probably believes it. He spent so long surrounding himself with people who tell him he's amazing that he's lost the ability to distinguish between genuine excellence and basic adequacy.
Said he has no idea why doctors gave him an MRI, which is probably why the doctors gave him the MRI.
Kimmel lands the perfect punchline that transforms Trump's boasting into self-indictment. The fundamental absurdity. Trump claims his brain scan was the best a doctor has ever seen, yet Trump has no idea why doctors ordered the scan in the first place. The circular logic exposes Trump's relationship with reality, a connection so tenuous that he can celebrate results from tests whose necessity he doesn't understand. This is Trump in miniature, confidently declaring victory in situations where normal people would ask questions. The doctors probably ordered that MRI precisely because Trump demonstrates concerning symptoms, yet Trump converts medical concern into evidence of his superiority. He's like a student who fails a test, but insists the teacher was amazed by his unique answers. Trump exists in a permanent state of self-celebration, where every outcome, regardless of actual meaning, gets interpreted as proof of his exceptional nature. Trump's ongoing performance in the Epstein scandal reveals everything you need to understand about his approach to governance, truth, and accountability. The man who promised to drain the swamp spent years partying with one of history's most notorious criminals, yet now positions himself as the moral authority investigating Democrat connections to that same criminal. Trump doesn't just move goalposts, he denies goalposts ever existed, and insists anyone who remembers them is spreading fake news. The psychological architecture is almost beautiful in its completeness. Create enough chaos that truth becomes impossible to pin down. Deflect every accusation toward enemies. Claim victory regardless of outcome. And above all, never admit fault or show genuine self-reflection. Trump turned politics into reality television, where he's simultaneously producer, star, and sole audience member who believes every frame. The Epstein files will likely reveal uncomfortable truths about many powerful people across political lines. But Trump's circus will continue regardless. He's perfected the art of surviving scandal through shamelessness, a strategy that works until suddenly it doesn't. We're watching a man try to outrun his own shadow, while insisting shadows don't exist. The show never ends because Trump never stops performing, trapped in a lifelong production where he's both the hero and the villain, the victim and the perpetrator, forever spinning tales that grow more elaborate with each retelling. Trump is what happens when a personality disorder meets unlimited resources and political power. A case study in narcissism that future psychologists will study for decades. And somehow, improbably, tragically, millions of people watch this daily spectacle and decide that this is the man who should lead a nation.